name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafu Norowonan Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to lead the debate on this bill, this all-important bill. Mr. Speaker, this bill is seeking to establish Donor Agencies Regulatory Commission, and its objective is to coordinate, regulate donor agencies for the purpose of strengthening their capacity to promote transparency and development in the country. Mr. Speaker, you can agree with me that since year 2000, a lot of impacts, has been done in this area of our economy. There have been a lot of international donor agencies that have come into this country for the last 20-something years, about 23 years, to assist this country in terms of development, especially in the area of healthcare delivery, education, and also poverty alleviation. But, Mr. Speaker, in as much as we appreciate this assistance that this international community have given to this country, we also need to know how these activities are being run in terms of the money they are bringing into the country. We need to understand how much they are bringing. Is it in terms of projects? We need to know how these monies are being utilized. I remember one of the occasions I was privileged to be part of a committee that invited the Honorable Minister of Finance to question them about the so much money that have been coming in. In fact, based on the research that we did, we discovered that between 2015 and 2020, about 20 trillion in Nigerian currency came in from outside the country, and that was about $27 billion. And now when we confronted the Honorable Minister, he said that he does not receive those funds. He does not have control over those funds. That the funds goes to different agencies based on peculiar needs. That he doesn't have control. So I think for us to really manage that particular subsector effectively, there must be a regulatory commission that monitors the activities of all these international donor agencies that send help to us, to know whether those funds are being utilized properly for the purpose meant for. Mr. Speaker, I think if this is done, it's going to really help this country a lot. And let me also take you back to so many things, so many reports, allegations that we have received, that sometimes the donor agencies that send this money might not really be, not in all cases, in some cases, might not really be for the purpose of development. They can also send this money to promote terrorism, which can further increase the level of insecurity in the country. So that's why it's also good for us to monitor how this money comes in and how it is utilized. And I'm also privileged to visit international community to see how monies are being regulated. You don't just take money to different countries and then use it the way you like. Those monies have to pass through certain government agencies that have responsibility to regulate it. To know whether the money is meant for development, they need to know the purpose. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to my colleagues that the importance of this bill cannot be overemphasized. This bill has no cost implication on the government. This bill is something that will, fund itself when it is passed into law. I want to submit, Mr. Speaker, that passing this bill into law is timely, and I ask for the support of my colleagues to support this bill to pass second reading. I so submit. Thank you very much.
Honorable Asai.
Much I agree with my brother Obonta that the contour of money possibly specified by our brother Honorable Edem may not be correct, but the issues raised in his own bill are very germane. And let us not make a mistake. And I give you an example of the international community participation. The genocide that happened in Rwanda, if you visit their site, they will tell you UN were there. They were killing their people by their side. So it's not the name of the mission that matters, but the intention of what they are doing at that particular time should be of concern to us. And the near example I will give you of recent, sir, those of us who are from the northern part of the country and those particularly for the northeast will tell you the participation and the active involvement of some of the NGOs going to rent a house, a hotel for 3 or 4 years, 10 years. What are they telling you? This crisis should not end. We are here. That's the intention. And they will go to places where Nigerian troops and other Nigerians cannot reach. How do they get to that kind of level of arrangement? It's because of the money they give. It means then they are, some of them have direct collaboration. The security agencies have this at the fingertips. Sir, we appreciate some of the NGOs that are doing excellent job. But in the interest of our own security, to protect life as contained in the Constitution, nothing should be too much to ensure that we bring out every law that will give those who will come and contribute to us genuinely to do their own assistance and help humanity. We are all for it. If you are in politics, you are for humanity. Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, I was telling Honorable Oloke, my leader, by the side, that some of them, the NGOs, I happen to have a nephew who was a director in NACA here, National AIDS. He will tell you how they are doing their profiling, how NGOs are giving money to people to go for homosexualism promotion and the rest. If we have such kind of laws, can't we control? It may be the right. And I recall one of the presidents in the African countries, take their money back if it is what they are going to promote in my own country, same-sex marriage. They are doing it, sir. They are in our country. And if you want to know their own activity, go around the Hilton maybe at the late hour. They are promoting that. And they are forming crops and sales. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, we are a country built on so much morality. And I believe I don't need that kind of money. I want a safe society. I want a society that can give me the best opportunity, but not this kind of promotion. I agree that some of the NGOs are doing extremely well, and we need to promote them, but nothing too bad. If you are taking monies, Your Excellency, into US today, won't you declare at the port of entry? If the control money is much, wouldn't they ask you questions? In our own case, what are the methods? If you say CBN are doing that, I will give you an example. It doesn't stop that. We used to have the Department of Local Content under the NNPC. Today that we have a full-blown institution doing that. Those of us for the Niger Delta will tell you better that the local content under the Niger Delta, under the full-blown institution now, are doing much better than the small department or unit under NNPC. So it is not about a unit formed there, but do they have the microscope eye and intelligence and whatever to ensure those things that we want to protect and defend in terms of the capacity? And that's why I will beg that this bill be read this content. Thank you very much. This is my solution.
Thank you very much. Dear
Remain Uzoma Nkima Bonta, Mr. Speaker, from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I listened attentively to the promoter of this bill, and I also read a synopsis, something he handed over to me. Mr. Speaker, I oppose the passage of this bill on the following points. He told us while debating that from his information that over 20 trillion of our currency entered Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, that is not feasible. Even the national budget had never, I maintain, for the past 15 years at least, gotten to 20 trillion except place. Am I protected? Please why not listen to me in silence? Mr. Speaker, he also alluded that the bill concerns purely international donors, of which he went ahead to mention some. And he may now ask rhetorically, who are these international donors? USAID, UKID, UNICEF, DFID, United Nations, European Union, OAU, and all whatnot. Is that whom we want to go to control? Mr. Speaker, like I said before he started doing the right, we will compound issues. This bill is retrogressive. This bill will take us back. Mr. Speaker, look at it. You will now tell, you said, we are begging them for fund. You are not telling them you are going to regulate them, how they'll bring it. Mr. Speaker, please, can you listen to me, sir? Mr. Speaker, am I protected? The move of the motion is distracting me. So, what am I not saying? This bill, we ought to show civility and listen to ourselves in silence. That's the ground rule. Mr. Speaker, transfer protection. This bill, if passed, will make these co-donors wary of us. We are still begging, we are still borrowing, and if this bill, according to him, is premised on international donors, then is it the local donors that we're trying to regulate? They are not local donors as such. Most of these bodies they have their rules and regulations. For example, UNICEF donates to us, the international donors. Nigeria subscribes to UNICEF. They do all that. So are we even going? They are regulated already, these donors. Except the other thing we do not know, who is trying to tell us. If you look at those, and then he says there is no financial implication. Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of financial implications. If you look at the composition of the board and all whatnot, and their salary and so on, it's huge. So are they going to take and be paid from the donors that gave to help the poor, or are we going to budget for them differently? Who will take care of them? So if you look at the financial implication, if you look at the bottleneck it will create, if you look at the retrogressive nature of it, we are now trying to regulate the international communities and donors that we have to create. It will give us problems. On that note, I think he should either step this thing down for further legislative input, or this thing should not be made to pass the second reading. I so debate, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, I want to first of all commend the sponsor of the bill for the establishment of this agency, because it's long overdue as far as Nigeria is concerned. Mr. Speaker, even UN agencies, who are agencies of United Nations organization that was established immediately after the First World War between around 1918 as a League of Nations, and later on changed to United Nations in 1945. Have office for the coordination of humanitarian affairs in anywhere they are intervening. Sir, today I want us to listen constructively. If donor agencies, UN agencies, NGOs can make to the public their accounts, Nigerians will be surprised to see figures there. Substantial part of their expenditure is more or less a current expenditure. Not because of anything, because they don't have an agency regulating their activities. Let me give you an example. The essence of most donations is for the intending beneficiaries to benefit effectively and efficiently. But you can see a situation whereby a donor agency is donating 1 trillion, but more than 800 billion is going on day in, day out expenses as overhead. Another thing, duplication and multiplication of activities. you realize that INGO is doing the same job with a UN agency, with NGO and other donor agencies doing the same thing. If there is no regulatory body, they will keep on doing with the same thing, asphyxiation. Let me give you an example. Essence of establishing WFP, World Food Program, is to provide food to cure hunger and to reduce the burden of feeding in the populace, particularly in a insurgency-ravaged area. You can have a situation whereby some UN agencies are equally doing the same thing, some INGOs are doing the same thing, some NGOs that are domestically local are doing also the same thing. So that at the end of the day, you see duplication or multiplication of activity because there is no agency regulating their affairs. Thirdly, when I was in the State Assembly, we visited Kuwait Fund, and they are ready to donate to Nigeria a technical aid in form of expertise in the area of desertification. 4 states in Nigeria were selected critically: Zamfara, Sokoto, Borno, and Yobe State. That they will be they will be assisted in the area of desertification. And they pledged 3 billion naira to each state. You can equally have another agency or a donor agency that is planning to do the same thing to the same states, which CBN, Ministry of Finance, with all their platforms, are not aware of what is happening between these states and Kuwait Fund in Kuwait City. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell, this bill, I want members to understand the intention that this bill is trying to cure. And we should not, at whatever level of influence at this level, as legislators, to throw a baby with the bath water or a bath water with the baby. This bill has additional stage or another stage, that is public hearing stage. Go and do your extraordinary research. Appear in the public hearing, make your presentation. An opinion of other people from outside this chamber can be entertained, so that at the end of the day, whether the bill can see the light of the day or not. But as far as we are concerned, and as far as people from the ravaged communities of Northeast, Northwest, North Central, and other ravaged area, even those from the Southeast, immediately after Nigerian Civil War, there were a lot of donor agencies that contributed to the development and actualization of 3 Rs. And we could see clearly, when they have concluded their activity, accounts were made public to the members of the Southeast. If the amount spent for reconstruction, rehabilitation, and resettlement can be divided according to number of the population of Southeast, each member of that particular Southeast and each citizen of Southeast can go with nothing less than, by then, at least $1 million. It's in the public notice. I have the statistics. So what
every bill, you look at the positive and negative aspect of a bill. Yeah, the positive aspect probably to enforce coordination. But when you looked at it, first of all, Mr. Speaker, what is donor? Donor is a grant from organization to organization, from country to country. And we know we have CBN, an intelligent unit in CBN that coordinate most of this money that comes into this country. And definitely, if we form this donor agency, it might also have its own complication. It might have its own complication because different agencies, in order to access those money, it becomes a more bureaucratic bottleneck that will enhance quick intervention development. Then it's knocking government's agency heads to heads because we want to cure a problem. A law is to cure, bring a solution. But if we have intelligent units in CBN that's coordinating it, forming another agencies might create a bottleneck and create another complication. But if we allow it to go, it also has its own positive aspect. Its positive aspect is that it can be able to collate. In India today, you have 2 million agencies, organizations that enhance bringing of money, foreign monies. And there is also a body that coordinates most of these issues. So this bill is to bring that body to coordinate. Fine and good. The House can pass it, or the House will take it to pass the second reading and take it to the expert public hearing, so that more input can be added. In that areas, it will be able to enhance the bill, or probably another way. Thank you.
God, I'm a human rights advocate. Few hours ago, this House received a conference report with respect to strengthening of the National Human Rights Commission. Mr. Speaker, National Human Rights Commission. We didn't receive the report. Mr. Speaker, if I may say, for want of what to say, first let me adopt all the adumbration made by my colleague about that. I agree completely with him. But I want to digress a bit. He was looking at it from the fact of big multinational agencies, international agencies, with respect to government. But my deputy speaker, my leader, my brother, has hit the nail on the head with respect to this bill. This bill is against the civil society organization in Nigeria. That's the truth. Mr. Speaker, for want of the proper order, last year in this current session, there was a bill on civil society organization, control of society organization, which we stepped down. So which we kill. Why bring such bill again in the current tenure of the House, Mr. Speaker? It is not fair. It is against our human rights. So against our rules, Mr. Speaker, let's therefore send this bill to where it should be, because anything supporting this bill is a support against the civil society organization in Nigeria. Thank you, Mr.
Honorable Chiere, we'll put the questions. I just have a couple of questions to ask those against this bill, so that we don't seem to be crying more than the bereaved. Do you think the donor agencies, it's a rhetorical question, but do you think the donor agencies will be happy to see that their money and their donations are being regulated and making sure it goes to the right place? Will they be happy, or will they be unhappy? I like straightforward. It's a straightforward question. It depends on. When you start a question, a straightforward question by an answer like it depends on, that means you've lost the question already. So if I donate money, I'll be happy. I'll be happy to make sure that the money I have donated is going the right place. I will not complain as a donor. Listen to me. I will not complain as a donor that why are these people trying to make sure that my money is going to the right place? Why are they trying to make sure? Because I want to be sure that it's going to the right place. So I don't want us to cry more than the bereaved. If the donor agencies have a problem with being regulated, if they have a problem with being regulated, I'm sure by the time we get to public hearing, they will send in, we would have known. The donor agencies, I'm not talking about the NGOs here. I'm talking about the donor agencies that are being regulated. So I think we should, I don't know, we'll find out. That's the work of the Regulatory Commission, that to go and find out. That is, you see, you can't answer the question. So that's why we need you are just helping the mover of the. Those in favor of this say aye. Those against this say nay. The ayes have it.